Hello, my name is Anastasia. This is my second YouTube video. My first one was just a couple of days ago, actually, and it went through some of the things I was going through during the first month after my husband told me he was transgender. I was not planning on making a second video this soon, at all. I thought they'd be like a month apart or something like that. As he transforms, I would keep you updated on my point of view in a hopefully more positive way than what's out there right now. But if you're in my situation, you know that a lot can happen in a couple days. So this is kind of my therapy, is making these videos and hoping that they help someone avoid the pitfalls that seem to be surrounding you everywhere. So here goes. Over the last couple of days since I made my first video, I've gotten amazing support from my family and friends, especially on Facebook. I haven't had any negative reactions yet. I know it's not a perfect world, and eventually some bigot out there is going to be a bigot, but I think I've chosen pretty well for my friends, and the family I've kept around has been the right choice. So I want to thank you all very much for being there for me and being there for my husband, who my husband's name is Rain. So I'll start calling her Rain now. I noticed in my first video I avoided Rain's old name and didn't use her new one. So let's make her real. So Rain got lots of support as well. And I'm very grateful for that, because I know she was feeling very alone and scared, and she had me, but words do matter, like they do hurt, and so everybody's been very good with Rain as well. And one thing I did notice when speaking to some of my family and friends is a lot of them kind of painted Rain as a villain, or like she wronged me in some way, and I just want to let you know that that is not the case at all. Rain is not a villain. She didn't wrong me. If anything, she wronged herself by denying who she was for so long. She's like lived in a prison in her own mind. And, well, actually a prison in that body. And I'm just glad that she can free herself. And yes, I have lots of adjusting to do. Lots. And it's very emotional. And it's very hard. But it's nobody's fault. And yeah, I just want you to know that Rain is great. And she's been there for me. All the time, she's asking me if I'm okay and how I'm doing, and as of my last video, I had mentioned how I kept not sharing the more negative thoughts going through my mind because I didn't want to burden Rain at all, and which leads me to the next step over the last couple of days. I called a counselor. We have phone counselors through my place of employment. Like, not through them, but like a company that they contract to do this, so it's all confidential. And anyways, I called a counselor. The intake worker wasn't sure where to send me, so they sent me to a depression counselor. So I briefly explained why I was calling to the depression counselor, and there was a couple moments of silence. Because she said she had never dealt with this before, and she needed a minute. So I gave her a minute, and then she spent the first half of the conversation under the assumption that we were going to split up for one reason or another. At first she thought that I wanted to leave him, and I explained, no. And then she thought that Rain wanted to be with men. And I said, no, no, no. Rain is a lesbian. And that paused her for a minute too. She asked again. She said, so Rain is a woman trapped in a man's body who is sexually attracted to women. And I said, yes. And she's like, okay, got it. She was a little bit, she wasn't, I don't know if she was realistic or pessimistic, but I wasn't getting warm fuzzies from some of the stuff she was saying. So it put me kind of in a down mood, and like she again painted Rain with the villain brush, and I had to set the counselor straight, and I did. And she gave me a little talk about how you don't choose who you're attracted to, and like gender wise. And that was a bit of a downer, because I see Rain through the eyes of my husband now. Now that I know she's in there, I see her. And she's always been there. I just let the outer trappings of the body kind of hide her from me. So I believe that I won't, like, I still have some concerns about the whole having relations with a woman, because I've never done it before, right? So, but I am attracted to the person I see in those eyes, and I always have been. So I'm not as concerned. I guess that part of the counseling did help, because it made me realize that the counselor was wrong. And so I've got a little bit more confidence there about that, because, like I said, Rain has always been there. I just didn't see her. Something else, the counselor did give me 2 really good pieces of advice, which I want to share, is I told the counselor how, while looking online, I kept coming to these things like it's the death, you have to mourn, and you got to go through these 7 stages. And I said that I didn't, and like everybody had that posted. Not everybody, but a lot. That was posted a lot. So I explained how I wasn't going through any of those stages, right? I never had the denial stage. My denial, like, oh my God, it's not true. I totally skipped that. And I explained that to her, and she's like, well, then I explained that I see my husband as more of a caterpillar, and he's been a caterpillar his whole life, but really there's this butterfly inside that's waiting to get out. So right now we're in the cocoon stage, right? The caterpillar's wrapped the cocoon around him, and in a couple years the butterfly will be fully emerged. Over the couple years, though, at least I get to interact with the butterfly, right? Like I said, she's there when you look into the eyes. So the counselor said, okay, then obviously you're not going to go through those stages of grief if that's how you view it. And I said, well, okay. And she said, but something is going to be feeling those emotions. Like something is going to, you will be going through those stages. It might not be for your husband, but it's going to end up being for your ideal family. And that made a lot of sense. So I started thinking about that, and although I had, or thought I had, accepted the reality of my situation, I wasn't quite letting go of that hope for a dream family, and I was in like a little bit of denial. And so the counselor was right, and so I spent a lot of time thinking about that and getting over the denial stage. And I don't think I'm going to go through all the stages, because I already skipped some, because today's been very emotional. The second piece of advice that the counselor gave me was to not keep everything away from Rain. She had said that by me not wanting to burden Rain with the troubles that I was having was going to negatively impact our relationship, because a relationship is a give and take. And if one is always giving, the other one's always taking. And if you're not giving Rain a chance to take some from me, you're unbalancing your relationship. And at the same time, Rain will be thinking the worst possible thing every time you don't share what's on your mind. It's going to be negative things that go through her brain, might not have anything to do with what's really going through mine. It would most likely be the worst possible scenario. So I took that piece of advice, and after I got off the phone, I talked to Rain openly about some of my doubts and worries, and it was hard. It was hard. But she put my mind at ease for a lot of them. So that was, thank you, counselor, very much for that. Today's been very emotional. Not sure exactly why. Probably because I'm thinking about that whole letting go of the ideal dream family. And also, for the first time ever, I saw Rain wearing eyeliner. And she looked great. I gotta say, she did look great. Makes her eyes pop right out of her head. But it was a shock to my system. I have no idea why, because we'd been planning on doing a makeup session. I believe it was the day after I think it was January. It might have been January 3rd, January 2nd or 3rd. I went out and bought Rain her first makeup set. And it has sat there unused until now. So I knew it was coming, obviously. I just I wasn't expecting it. I thought it was something we were going to do together. So, but it's been over a month and it hasn't been done. So Rain, of course, got a little bit impatient, which makes sense. I would have done it a month ago. I wouldn't have waited a month. But anyways, it was a shock to my system. And it just made me emotional. So I've been a little bit bawly today and a little bit more down than normal. I try and be in a positive place as often as possible because it doesn't feel good to be in a negative place, and I don't like it. But I ended up having to call my workplace. I am a cashier, and I didn't think it would be appropriate to be standing at my till bawling. So they weren't very happy when I called in, because I called in and said, like, I'm sorry, I'm having a really bad day. And the manager I was speaking with said, yeah, well, you'll have to talk to your manager and see if it's approved or not, because a bad day is not really good enough reason. I said, okay. Well, can I just briefly tell you the reason and then you can relay it to my manager? And she said, okay. I said, my husband came out as transgender. And she immediately did an about turn and said that, okay, take the day, and if there's anything we can do, please let us know. And I want to say that is really cool, especially for my workplace. That was not expected. Honestly, I was expecting her to say, who cares? And so, kudos to you if you ever see this video. So anyways, I've got the day. Right after I got off the phone with my workplace, I called my family doctor's office. I decided that maybe I should have some counseling with someone who knows about transgender issues, transgender family counseling, someone who's educated and more positive, and I think that was a good move. So I have an appointment for tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully better than the phone conversation. Although I do value those pieces of advice that I got, so it was worth it. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to share at this time. I hope everybody is able to get some helpful advice from this. And good luck, all. I will see you next video. Thank you.